Rati si rati anayu. Runai ati. My name is Mariah TV, and today we are going to be doing my first Reiki masterclass. So I'm going to be going through what Reiki is, how it operates in the body. I'm going to go through my journey of my level 1 all the way to becoming a teacher. I'm going to go into what each level of attunement may do to your body and to your mind, and how things are shifting and integrating over time. We're going to have a Q&A. Let's see what else we got on my little list here. We're going to be talking about relationships with different teachers. We're going to be talking about going into different dimensions. We're going to be talking about when you're tapping into different places and when that happens. We're going to talk about trust falling into your new intuitive gifts. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things. And I haven't done a live masterclass on Reiki itself, and I'm like, how come we haven't done this? But just in the last week, I've had an enormous amount of DMs and questions and story responses from people that are I'm really interested in Reiki. Where do I start? How does it work? I'm being called to do it, but I don't know how. Can you do it distance? We're going to talk about how the whole attunement process works when you're not in the room with someone. I've gotten attunements not in the same room. My master was in Toronto when I got my last level. Still did the whole thing, the teaching and the learning and the symbols, and we had our class. So we'll talk about how that works as well, because I'm feeling called I need to do a level 1 class and a level 2 class in next month, so in May, so that people have that opportunity to come into that space and come into that leadership role of really taking over their intuitive gifts. Because right now you're kind of in a incubator space, and this is a beautiful time to really step into that space of becoming a practitioner of whatever level that you want, or if you want to upgrade to your next level, because you have the time and the space to practice. And it's going to really help you cultivate your skills, because you're going to have to learn how to do distance healing, because that's the only way you're going to be doing things. So yes, we have a lot to cover. I'm really excited, and there's going to be a Q&A, but if you have any questions that come up, hello, if you have any questions that come up, please just write them in the comments, and at the end for the Q&A, I will answer all the questions. I'll give you all of the information about the attunements and how that will work later on. I'm only doing 4 humans in the class for level 1 and level 2, but I'll continue to do classes. I feel like that's a really good... I am having a very vibrant day. Thank you very much. Hope you are having a fabulous day. So we'll go on to that later. So first we're going to, where'd my music go? First we're going to talk about what Reiki even is. Because when we step into using energy, I'm just putting on some binaural beats to get some vibes up in here. When we step into this space of I want to learn how to use energy, we're that's great. But there's so many different types of energy. Everything is made up of energy. So when someone says, I practice Reiki, or I practice acupuncture, I practice some other type of modality, there's this idea of this modality is better than this modality, or I should be using it this way. And it's do whatever you're called to do. And we are humans, so we do need some sort of structure in order to funnel that energy through. So we can do all of our energy work just based off, hello Vanessa, hello. We can do energy work just based off our intention, but if you have a more logical mind and you need, hello Vanessa, if you have a more logical mind, you probably need a system, really heavy on systems, so that you know how to use the energy and shift it around. So the system that was created that I use, that's been passed down through different ceremonies and things, is Reiki. So the system of Reiki, the system of acupuncture, the system of massage, the system of whatever you're working with. So it's like Reiki is a system on how to use the energy. So if you connect with the way this system works, then that's the way that you need to use the energy. And once you, like, it just becomes a foundation so that you understand how to work with it. And then once you understand it, you can branch into all sorts of different other areas and learn new systems, and you overlay. And we'll get into like what the difference between level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and how you're using the energy different as you move along. So Reiki is universal love. And if you're familiar with the chakras, so the root is at the base of the spine, we have the sacral in between the hips, we have the solar just underneath the rib cage, we have our heart chakra, our throat chakra, third eye, and crown. So what you're doing with the Reiki energy is like you're intentionally calling that energy in, coming down through the crown, it splits at the heart, and then it comes through the hands. And the energy teaches you how to move and shift with it. And we have a bunch of joints in our hands, and with every joint in our body, that's like an energy center. So because we have so many on our hands, that's why we use our hands for Reiki. And because it's a system that our minds are using, we have to honor that system, because everything is based off, hello Megan, everything is based off intention. So when you're going through the manuals, it's like we have to use this certain symbol to increase the energy. We use this certain symbol to decrease, because it's all about training your mind to associate a symbol or a different or a type of method to increase and decrease the energy. Because if I just told you right now, increase and decrease the energy of this human, you're going to be like, I don't know how to do that. You need some sort of reference point. So that energy comes into the body and it has its own intelligence. So we are using it intentionally, but most of the time it's going to run through your crown, split at the heart, go through the hands, go into your body or the person that you're working on if you are a level 2, or doing exchanges of whatever sort. So that energy is funneling through and going into that person's body. And when you're first starting, you're like, is this even on? And it is. It's doing the work, and the person is like getting a healing, as it's very intelligent and knows where it needs to go. But again, we need to create a system for when we're holding space for the energy, because it's going to be balancing out the chakras. So it's going to make sure that that chakra is spinning more efficiently, or it's going to decrease, and you get to learn how to play to increase and decrease the energy in that certain center. Because when you're first beginning, it's like you just have to trust that whatever's coming through is the best for that person and the best for you. Because that's the whole point of the like level 1 training, is to like really understand that something that you can't see, that you can feel, is real, and that it is impacting people at a deeper level that you're not even gonna understand. And that level 1 incubation, that 21 days cleanse that you do after your level 1 attunement, it's like this period where you're really integrating this idea of trust and an allowance. Make sure I'm staying on track here. So, water. So, Reiki is balancing the chakras. It's helping the nervous system relax. It's clearing the mind. It's putting you in like a meditative state. And Reiki works with the 4 like main bodies. So it works obviously with the physical body. It works with the mental body. It works with the emotional body, and it works with the energetic, of course. And when we are doing treatments on people that haven't done it before, or just getting familiar with it, it's really important that we focus and put our intention in learning how it's affecting our physical body. Because there's sort of picture like this is the physical body. So it's one hand, and this hand holds the mental body. The mental body holds the emotional, and then the emotional holds the energetic. So we have to loosen this physical body, then the mental body loosens, then the emotional body loosens, and then the energetic has more freedom to move around. And the level 1 is all about increasing and decreasing the energy in the physical form and the physical body, because you're like trying to teach the body and the mind that this is okay. You're allowed to relax. You're allowed to have control of your relaxation. You're in control of the increase and the decrease, and you're allowed, and you have this power for this physical form, because that builds a lot of confidence and vigor and focus, because if you're like going through a lot of stuff, you know exactly what you need to do for the physical body to get you back on track. So then you learn how to increase and decrease with the symbols. And I keep saying symbols, and if you're not familiar, depending on what level of Reiki you're in, each level you're gifted a new symbol. And in the level 1 training, the teacher that does the attunement is going to embed energetically the Shokurei, which is the first symbol that you're gifted, and it's in control of increasing and decreasing the energy in the body depending on what way you draw it. So that's embedded in the hands, and that's a permanent thing, like forever ever. That's going to be in your hands. And the attunement itself, that going in the physical body, that is a permanent attunement as well. And what that attunement does is this very potent energy goes through a clean channel, the teacher, and it comes through, splits at the heart, goes through the hands, and the teacher is using all sorts of symbols, doop-da-doo, and different movements of the body in order for the body to integrate and understand this new gift that's being passed down. And while this is happening, the energy sits in the auric field, and it takes 21 days for it to fully integrate and for you to understand how to use it. And that's why this 21 days is important, because it's all about that integration. So in this level 1 attunement, you have your little manual. We go through the history, we go through the symbols, we learn about self-healing and the importance of doing it every day, and how to tap into your different senses. And the level 1 is all about focusing on the intuition, so it opens up the third eye. And if your third eye is already open, then fantastic. It's just going to give it some extra cleaning. So it opens up the third eye, and your intuition becomes very pronounced. And with each attunement, it opens up a different cavern in the body. So with this third eye opening, you become more aware of the energy because your senses are heightened, and you start to pick up things. I know, I'll go into story time, but I know when I got, after my level 1 attunement, my senses were dialed up to the max, and it took me a while to even go outside, because I was like, whoa, this is a lot going on. Level 1 attunement. And it is a permanent thing. So if you do choose to do a level 1, it's you're saying at the highest caliber of universe, I am ready for change. I am ready to integrate energy that I haven't experienced before. I'm ready to fall into the unknown and allow myself to just get into whatever you want me to get into, because it takes you for a ride. It takes you on a journey that you don't even expect. Sometimes I'm I don't even know where I am, but I trust you a lot. The Reiki energy becomes this entity. It's becomes a friend, and you trust it because it's like that friend that will tell you the truth all the time. It's not sugarcoating. Because there's so much clarity in the mind now, you can't it's like when you lie to yourself, or if you're trying to hide something from yourself, you can't do it as easily, because it's oh, nope, it's right here. So you go through so much growth, because everything is so transparent that you can't, like, you can't. You just can't. So level 1. And the reason why I do level 1 classes within a group, because it was so important for me, I did it with 3 other lovely human souls, because you have this like little fam group and you can check up on each other. Because after my level 1 attunement, I was in a daze. Like, I know one girl was actually, her and the other person were like bawling their eyes out, like right after the other person was kind of fine, and I was like, you know, like the actual process of the attunement, like looking up in the sky and like everything was all like, there was all these dots everywhere. My sense of like the actual attunement was like very magical. But like after we did, I could like see the energy, and it was like, I felt like I was on mushrooms, like there was a lot going on. But then like that came down, and then I was integrating, and then I was like, I'm fine. But then I went on an emotional roller coaster, because the 21 days, when I keep saying cleanse, it's not like this is your little meal plan. Like, it's not like that. The body is very intuitive, so it's gonna clean out what it needs to clean out. So for the 21 days, no smoking, no, hello Gerald, no smoking, no weed, no sex, no drugs, no dairy, no coffee, no gambling. So why there's these few things that you have to stay away from is because those things, some part of the psyche is like addicted. Oh, and no processed sugar. There's a part of like addiction around, you probably have a very subtle or pronounced addiction to one of those things. So when we're doing this 21-day cleanse, we have to allow the body to be as clean and open as possible. I'll suggest that. I'll talk about that. So when you take away those things, the body's open and clean, so that energy can fully integrate, because it's still hovering in the auric field, and it needs room, and it needs that space to fully come in. So if you're like, you know, putting stuff in that's distracting you, you're not allowing your intuition to help you. You're not allowing yourself to be clear and make decisions, because you're allowing things outside of you to like fulfill you. But the whole point of the attunement is for you to realize that all you gotta do is put your hands on yourself, set intentions, use the symbols, and y'all gonna be okay. So I'm gonna, okay, so Hannah, so that's a really good point. So if you do have any health issues, it's not rough. Like, people's reactions to the 21 days is different. So I know that it depends on how you need to cleanse. So if you need to cleanse physically, you might throw up, or you might poop a lot. I don't know, or maybe you want to eat something different. Maybe emotionally you're like crying all the time, or you're super happy. It kind of depends. Or like there's a lot of like confusion, but your mind is just, so if you already have health problems, if you're joining, my phone just overheated. If you already have health problems, like, it's probably actually good for you to do a level 1 attunement, because it's going to help like softly move things out. So everything is not going to be super intense for everybody. Some people need a kick in the pants. Some people need the attunement to be very soft and calming and nurturing. It just depends on the intention and what the body needs. So there's going to be people that when attunement comes in, it's going to really make them see how powerful that they are. Or maybe it's going to show them how much ego is happening in their life. Or maybe it's going to show them, like, it's just going to show you different things. And the cleanse is really good if you do have health issues, because it's going to rebalance the entire system. And you're going to have to just allow the body to purge in the way that it needs to. And it's nothing to be afraid of. If I disappear, just my phone's overheating. But I think we should be fine. Yeah, so don't be afraid. Okay, where are we going next? The next place that we're going to be going is level 2. So level 2 attunements. So level 2 is a heart opener. This is also the stage where you are certified to work on other people, which means that when the heart opens, you have more compassion for everything in your space. You have more compassion for animals, you have more compassion for people, you have more compassion for the earth. It's just a different level of compassion that you start to experience, and you need that in order to work with people, because you're going to be going through a lot of things with a lot of different people, and you have to be able to hold space and not get attached to their stuff. And it's like this disattachment and attachment that you're experiencing back and forth with this person, because you have to be open and you learn how to pick up their physical, mental, emotional, energetic bodies. They're kind of like seeping into your bones, and you pick up everything that like they're going through, and then you're going to be very efficient at moving stuff around in the body and doing psychic surgery and move this bone over here and figure out this muscle thing over here and take this stuff out of the brain and put this in. Like, you're going to be really good at that because you've soaked up who this person is, and then you give it back after. And that's where the whole, like, you know, learning how to not fully absorb people's stuff and keep it forever. We want to give their stuff back. And this is like the level 2 attunement is a little bit more intense in the system, because you have to have an increased sensitivity to do the work. And this level 2 is also connected to doing distance healings as well. So in the level 2, you learn how to do that efficiently. And I love in person, because I'm like all up in there doing pressure points, singing at your body and doing psychic surgery and listening to different entities and calling people in, and we're having a party and there's colors everywhere, and it's a fantastic ceremony every time I do a session. But I also love doing distance, because when you can do distance, I'm just in a meditative trance for the full 45 minutes, seeing what's going on, and it's just a full, like, it's just like a screen is in front of me, and I'm just playing out this like 45-minute movie of what's going on in your body and your mind, and you're getting all these different messages. So I come out of this trance and I write what's stuff down, and I go back into the trance and move stuff around, and I'm singing and I'm crying on the floor and I'm dancing. It's like this whole thing again, but in my own space. And and the person that I'm working on, they're not worried about like, is she going to move to my feet? They're not worried about that, because they're in their own space. So, and that also builds confidence in your ability to use your intuitive gifts and reach over, because you're able to do that. And I remember the first time I did a distance healing, they're like, I don't know what you did, and I don't even know how this works, but let's do this again sometime. And it was so good for my confidence, because I knew that I could just be like, pop in your room real quick, throw stuff around. And then it got to the point where like where I'm actually feeling like, close my eyes, I'm standing above them in their room doing my stuff. Like, it got to that point of where I can just see. And I'm just like chilling in the room and doing the stuff. So level 2. And in the level 2, you're gifted, you know, it's kind of like Harry Potter. It's like you level up because you know how to increase and decrease your food and your water and your body and your rooms, and you can use that symbol on everything. We cover that in the level 1 attunement. And then in level 2, you get gifted the next symbol. So you learn how to use the distance symbol, and you learn how to work with the emotional and mental bodies. And that's really cool, because then you can like, you need to like connect to the mental body. So you've mastered how to relax the physical, and then you learn how to work with the mental body. And this is where the psychic surgery comes in, and where you can take out stuff, be like, we don't need that no more, throw it out, put in some new happy stuff. And it's like what I see, because I'm a very visual healer, so what I see is like I can see the energetic brain. I'm like moving stuff around, and then it's kind of like a game, and I can see like, I'm like, okay, there's this little safe in here, we're gonna undo this, and and here's this memory that nobody wants to know, and and then I can pick up all like the mental chatter, the subconscious chatter, and then when the session is done, they're like, then I'm like, all right, we got to talk. And then I just be like very direct. And channel the whatever was coming through. And some people are like, what are you talking about? Ask your question. I'll answer your question in a second. What was the thing? So just very direct with the information, because some people are very surprised because they'll be like, this thing that I don't think that's the reason why I'm doing this, or I don't think that, but it's exactly the thing. And they just need, because you're connecting through the subconscious. That's what like channeling pretty much is. You're either channeling the subconscious or their higher self. And so you're like being very blunt with that information. Yes. Okay, so do you ever see anything that you're not sure about removing or letting stay? So, good question. So when you are all up in there, like, it's just an intuitive nature. And one of my teacher, he said, like, everything, when I say removing, it's not like you're removing and you're throwing it away forever. It's more of you're removing that thing and you're translating. Like, you have that ability to be like, this thing I can transmute or turn it into something else that's going to be usable. So if they have, like, a lot of the people that I work with, they have a lot of voice issues. So then, like, there's a block in there and I'm like, ah. And sometimes I'll like move the thing and it's really sticky and I can't get it out, and I'm like, okay, we're going to leave you in there, but we're just going to clean you a bit and like give you a little push to grow, and I'll like turn it blue and I'll turn it into something else. So it's still a block, but it's like a lot easier for them to work with themselves. And it's also a good point is sometimes there's things that you have to leave because they actually have to go through that block, and blocks manifest in different ways. So it could be a physical thing, or it can be like a block is, I can't have this conversation with someone, and that's something that they actually have to physically do with their own mouths in order for that block to remove. So as the healer, you're going to know whether that's a step that they have to do by themselves, or it's something that you can transmute or translate into something else that's not serving them anymore. All right, level 2. Anything else about level 2? Oh, level 2. Oh, important point here. What did I have? So learning. So you're gonna learn. You have a very unique energy that connects with certain types of people, and that's why I don't believe about saturation, because everyone's their own unique expression, and people that want to work with me, they're gonna work with me. But if they want to work with Susan, they're gonna work with Susan. It's fine. There's enough people, enough healers in the world. And because there's such a potency and importance on in like your own health, like when you're doing Reiki on yourself, you're healing the body every day. So you have a certain frequency, a certain eminence, and you're beautiful and you're glowing and everything's great. And people are going to be attracted to that because they're like, you healthy, I want to be healthy too. And in the level 2, you have to be able to maintain that health in order to be a proper channel. So the level 2 really integrates, like, I have to actually love myself and take care of myself in order to do the job and serve other people, because if I don't, the energy is going to be hitting the filters. And we talked about filters before, but if it's coming in, it's getting all distorted, it's going to be like coming in and then it's going to be like, it's not gonna be potent coming through healing the world. It's gonna be all like skanky and it's not gonna be good. So we have to make sure that the body is healthy and clean, and you're also gonna feel a lot better about asking for an exchange, because this is a whole other level 2. When you come into level 2, it's like literally people are paying you because you're healthy. Like literally that's it. I'm being paid and being able to live my life because I'm healthy enough for the energy to come through my body, go into your body and help you out. Like that's literally the thing. So you build this new foundation of like, oh, like all I have to do is take care of myself and I'm gonna be fine. Like that's a massive shift in your psyche. Okay, and I find it's like this level 2 is the ultimate. It's the ultimate test of how much you want to serve, because you wrote that contract with level 1 whatever months ago, and now it's like, can you show up? Can you do those things? Are you doing your practice? Are you Reikiing your water? It's the test of like how well can you still show up when you don't want to, and it's a great test of like, I'm so tired. And it's like, well, all you gotta do is do Reiki for 10 minutes, you're gonna be fine. And will you do Reiki for 10 minutes or are you gonna sleep? Like, you gotta, it's like, it makes you have to show up more for yourself. All right, we're getting all hyped up. And if I do go away, it's just because my phone overheated, but I'll be back. I'll have to piece my lives together so that it's all in one cute little place. Okay, there's another question here. Are there rules around distance Reiki? Yes. So I'm going to go through some basic rules of Reiki. So there has to be consent. You can't just be like, bro, I'm going to go up in your mind real quick, read your thoughts, and then use them against you. Like, that's not how we do the things. So when we increase our intuitive gifts, we also have to be respectful because we're going to be more powerful, and we have to be respectful with the power that we have because it can be taken away. The universe is going to be like, bro, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, so we're going to make life difficult for you. So there has to be consent. So if someone books an appointment with you, there's consent of you going in the face or wherever for that hour or forever, however long, and they're setting the intention of what they want the energy to do. So you're working in that container that they've created, and obviously there's little loopholes if like you're allowed to like send Reiki to your family or your loved one or a dog or a neighbor or home, like you're allowed to send it like intentionally or whatever, but it's not gonna work, like it's not gonna do to its full contentment or full expansion if the person doesn't want the thing. And because we're working the container of Reiki, Reiki is based off of consent and love. So if you're having negative thoughts or you're doing it but in a resentful space, it's not gonna work. It's gonna be like doo doo doo. It's like it's just gonna turn off, and you're gonna be using your own energy and you're gonna be drained. And you learn in level 2, I teach like the difference between like if you're using the energy that's the Reiki that's coming through, or if you're using yours, and the differences between. Because again, Reiki is a system of Reiki, so there's lots of different systems, and there's dark magic and different levels of magic and bad energy, like there's all sorts of different things, but the container of Reiki is that it only works on love, it only works on consent, so it's only going to work in that way. Oh, and we also go into like, how come I didn't feel it, or am I doing this right, and like we go through all that stuff as well. Alright, level 3. Okay, so level 3 is definitely a ride. So when I had my level 3 attunement, yeah, I was like, we were sitting in this beautiful backyard of one of my friends, and my teacher did in that space, and we're all like this for like 2 hours. I'm like, I can't see. Because each attunement is a lot more intense on the body, and it was just a massive download, just like the biggest download ever. And I find that the level 3 really opens up the solar plexus, because you have to use that sense of power to be like, I know my shit, and you have to be very stable and confident, because you're going to be learning how to go into different dimensions and talk to different entities. So you have to have a very good, stable center space in this physical reality in order to tap into those different places. So I'm like this for like 2 hours, and it was like, it just felt like there was like a hum for like 2 hours, and I'm like, am I gonna be okay? He's like, you're gonna be fine. And in the level 3, I'm not sure if I'm gonna reveal this because it's secret, hush hush. But you do learn one of the most important things that you can do for your consciousness in this level 3, and you learn how to do that for other people, and you learn how to control that within the body. But we're not going to get more into that because that's a secret. Alright, and then also in level 3, you start to embody yourself and learn very deeply who you are and what you need to do in your practice. So in the level 1 and 2, you're just like, this is your hand placements, this is how you do the thing, this is the order of the chakras, like you do the basic. But in level 3, it's like, it's a free-for-all. Obviously, you're going to do what you need to do, but you can do it really quickly. You're just like, everything becomes, you can just start doing stuff based on intention, And I've had experiences where I'm, you know, I'm doing my Reiki, but it's like I can copy and paste my energetic body around the human, so I can be working on all sorts of stuff while I'm physically working on this part, and the client will be like, I felt you at my head and on my arm, but I knew you're down here. I was like, I don't even know what's going on. You learn how to like be really creative with your placement and how to use your energy, and it's like you fully get to play in your life. It's like this place where your creativity just runs wild, and that's how you do your psychic surgery and your removing stuff. Because I'm there like fighting demons and throwing things in portals and swimming underneath the lake. Like I'm just doing the crazy stuff. I'm going on this crazy ass adventure trying to heal this body, but that's what like I need something very visual and interactive in order to do the work. So that's what it's set up for me to do. So Reiki's like the foundation, opens up the whole system, and then you just like start to come into this whole other world of creation. Because I've had like so many experiences where like I almost saw the thing, or I almost looked at the thing, but then the level 3 came around, it's just like, doors wide open, I'm ready. So I'm there like this bird people hanging over here, I'm talking to this person's mom that's a ghost, like there's just all sorts of stuff. And you learn, because you have that power center, you're very intuitive, the heart's open, you're just like, everything's chill, everything's good. And you're not nervous or doubting, it's just like, this is my reality, and I'm cool with that. And whoever your client is, when you come to this point, it's like you're gonna really recognize that they learn the same. So if you like the way that I speak, the way that I explain things, you probably connect with the way that I translate communication. So my thing is like we can be crying about the most traumatic thing in the room, but by the end, I'm making sure that you're laughing. So as me as a practitioner, I like made a vow for myself that I'm going to be direct with the information that needs to come through. I'm going to explain it in a more analytical, intelligent, no fluff way. Here it is, but I'm also going to be very humorous and laugh and be dramatic, because that's just how I am, and that's how I learn when people are like that. So that's what I'm going to bring to the world, because that's just my personality. So you truly know how to bring your personality within the structure of your practice, and it's just like a beautiful space, because you get gifted, you know, you're leveling up, you're in the next level of Harry Potter, and you gifted a new symbols. So then that happens, and you learn, and like I think level 2, I was like connecting with the energy of ayahuasca, and she was teaching me like sound therapy, so I was learning that from these different entities, and I really brought that into music. Thank you. With music, and I'm like literally some sessions into singing at your body the whole time while I'm poking ya, moving shit around, legs over here, pulling out your brain energetically, moving stuff, throwing it back in. You know, I'm doing all crazy stuff. But that level 3 attunement really like taught me how I need to be and how I need to operate in the way that I do things, because we have to do it in the way that feels the best, because that's going to be the most powerful for the body. That's going to be the best for the body. Okay, where are we to? Anything else for level 3? Anything else for level 3? No, I think that's about level 3. Okay, let me just check my notes here. Okay, level 4. Don't worry, there's only 4 levels. I know somebody was like, so I met this person and they're a level 5, and I'm like, they lying. I don't know any lineages that have level 5. So the way that the levels, before I get into level 4, the way that they're broken down, level 1, self-love, level 2, practitioner, and then level 3 is a master. But some lineages do like 1, 2, 3, so you get the master and master teacher level in the same class. But I was given my level 3 in 2 parts, so it's really like 1 to 4. Just because there's a year in between, usually between 2 and 3, because it's like you're integrating for a full year because there's too much crazy stuff going on. And then level 3 to level 4, I had a year as well. So, again, lots of crazy stuff, and you have to be able to, it's like you have no other option but to embody the practice and become immersed in this work, because it's like as soon as you sit down to level 1, you're like, all right, this is the road I'm taking. So you have to do the work in order to get there. And there's also no time period of like level 1 to level 2. It could be like within 2 weeks. It could be a month. Like, it just depends on your commitment and your willingness to do the work. And a lot of the work just happens for you consistently, and you're just kind of watching it happen and unfolding. So it's like you're gonna have to do some work, but it's also gonna help you out. And then what else? I think I was gonna say something, but I can't. Anyway, level 4, master teacher. So with the level 1, third eye open, heart, explosions, solar plexus, I'm ready. And then I find the level 4 is very grounding. So I get a lot of red. So for my little cute certificates, I had them color coded, of course. So the level 4 is red because you're really grounded in the practice. You are the practice. You're teaching the practice. You have your own cute manuals, and I've made my own manual. So I have like little cartoon versions of me doing yogas and little hand placements, and I made it very me. So it's all purple and green and white because I'm a very visual. So I want to make sure that you are like exploding with knowledge every time you look at my stuff. Like, that's how I roll. So I can't do this white and black situation. I just can't do it. So then you make your own materials, and you learn how to speak to people, and it's like it's red, but it's also like it's a very explosion of your voice near the end after your attunement, because you have to be, the only way you gonna teach is if it comes through your mouth. So you need to learn how to talk, and you need to learn how to communicate the knowledge, how to communicate the stuff that you're funneling through, and how it works in your own mind. Because if I'm just sitting here, I'm like, so today we're gonna be talking about Reiki, and my name's Mariah. And like, that's, you're not gonna be very involved. You're gonna be like, I ain't listening to this lady, she don't know shit. So you have to be able to speak in a way where people actually listen, and what you'll find is that you'll find your frequency in the way that you need to speak, in the way you need to communicate so people can hear you. So it's really important that we find our voice through the process, because that's the only way you're going to effectively teach, is people actually want to listen to when you talk. Because if you're doing a class and you're like, a fantastic healer, but you can't explain what you're doing, then you're not going to be an effective teacher, and they're not going to absorb the information. And what I do is, like, I want you to be bombarded with the information so much that you can't help but it to suck into your body, and you start doing it. It's all you think about it, and it's just like, ah! Like, I want you to be in that space when you're learning with me, because I want you to be continuously excited and inspired. Because the moment you get bored, you're turning off the screen, you're not reading the manuals, you're not doing the stuff, because there's no oomph to the situation. And I want to make sure that you're feeling some oomph through the learning process, because you don't want to get bored with your practice. You have to continuously be creative with how you're healing and how you're working with people. Level 4 is also like, you kind of feel like your teachers were holding your hand through level 1 and level 2, and they let go just a little in level 3, but then and then in their level 4, they're kind of like push you off the edge. You're like, good luck. And this is really freeing space, because now you're technically at the same level as your teachers. Obviously you have more experience and blah blah blah, but it's kind of like this recognition of like, we are all equal. You are your own master of this human body, and you're always learning, and like, you are this new expression of yourself, and we've given you everything that we know. And one of the most magical things, pay attention, most magical things about working with a teacher that you connect with, because I get a lot of students who are like, I don't really like my teacher that much. Well, why do you get attunement from her? Is that everything that I know goes into the auric field and subconscious of my students. So everything about Kundalini, everything about my sound healing that I pull from different dimensions, the techniques, everything that I know, everything's in this brain right here, is put in your auric field into your subconscious, and you'll find that over time you're going to start be interested in new things, and you're going to start pulling this information. You're going to get all these ideas, and where is it coming from? It's because it's going to be passed down. So the attunement not only brings in the Reiki energy into the body, it's also every teacher's knowledge gets passed down, and that's why the next teacher, the next student becomes more intelligent, better at the craft, better at communicating, because it's like this massive potent of energy that's been passed down, collected, and put it into the student. So that's pretty cool. All right, any questions? I've just been talking for like a long time. What time is it right now? Well, we've been talking for almost an hour. Before you have any questions, put it in the thing. Now I'm gonna go into my little story, and I'm just gonna make sure that I'm covering all of the topics that I said I was going to in my post, because we can't be lying up in here. Okay. Alrighty, so story time. My level 1 attunement blew my fluffing mind. So just imagine me with a lot of eyeliner and my hair long and dying because I relaxed it. Just imagine that's happening. And then I'm a lost soul, just got out of a relationship, and I'm looking for something to, you know, expand my consciousness and bring me into a place where I feel like me, where I feel connected. And you're welcome. If you like remember when you were a kid, and you used to play in the dirt, and I used to play games where I'd jump from tree to tree, and then me and my sister would pretend that there was these massive animals and we couldn't touch the ground, and there was trees like on the border of our backyard, so we would like hop from tree to tree, and I knew that there's like magic, and I could see in these different places, and I knew like there was something here, and I wanted to know more about it, and I could feel that magic in the space. It felt like I was in this dreamy space for most of my childhood. And then the moment I turned 12, it was like, all right, Mariah, time to grow up. Time to leave the magic land and come to the black and white land where nothing happens and everything's boring. And I'm like, no. So I hung on to my childhood for a very long time, but then I had to grow up. So I went to business school, moved around a lot, and had a lot of failed relationships, had a very brief party stage. I never was really into alcohol. Moved to different provinces. I moved to Halifax, and then I found the center, the little cute purple house on Windsor Street, and I met Josh Coleman. He gave me my first ever Reiki session in my entire life. And I was laying there like really awkward. I don't know what this human's doing, and I'm in this house, and let's go with the flow. And I didn't really feel anything, to be honest. But because I was so blocked up, and that's the thing that you'll notice if you're working with people that never had it before, that they might not feel anything, but there's been a massive upgrade on the earth, so it might be fine. And I was like, what'd you find? What'd you see? And he told me stuff, and I was like, how you know that? And I was like, so when are you going to have a class to teach me how to do that? So he was like, it's not going to be until blah, 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 but I know this other person. So then I met the magical Austin Ha. So he gave me my level 1, 2, and 3, and he's also a Kundalini Yoga teacher. Great, beautiful human, great human. So then I started coming to the center, and I started going to his Kundalini Yoga classes. I didn't know what Kundalini Yoga was, but I knew I needed to do the yoga, and I need to stretch. Just imagine me like, I can't. I'm just like not flexible whatsoever. and he just came back from whatever magical land, and he was doing the most craziest stuff you've ever seen a yoga person do, like the craziest bends, and I'm like, I don't even know how you exist. So I was like, okay, we'll stay because this is different. So he taught me stuff, went to his classes. He was like really, like, it was like the most amazing experience to like be in the presence of someone that was so committed to their practice, and I trusted this human more than I trusted any other human in my entire life. I was like, why do I trust a stranger more than my family? And it's just because he was just emanating such a powerful frequency in the space, and I was like, I am mind blown right now. So I stayed, and hello. And I kept doing his classes, and then one day he asked me if I wanted to do a Reiki attunement. So I was like, not sure what that is, but if I'm going to look like you, sign me up. So, I went, and I was in the room with 3 other people. First time I met them in my entire life. We went through the manuals, learned the symbols. I still have no idea what's going on, but whatever. And then he's like, everyone's gonna go outside and we're gonna do it individually. And I was like, okay. So we go out, we do the attunement, and I look up into the sky and it's beautiful. Like, I feel like I was like witnessing the Matrix. Like, it was all like, and I was like, this is different. This is changing me in ways I'm not even gonna understand. Feeling very emotional, feeling pretty buzzy. And then I looked at him and I was like, I don't even know who I am. He's like, let's go back to the room. So I went, and I was very, very surprised on how it affected my body. We all stood up and we like held our hands out, and we imagined the energy moving through our palms, and like it felt like we made the room at such a high frequency that we like transported ourselves to a different world. It was like we were so like, it was intense, and like I just feel like a bunch of emotion. It was like, and I could see like the energy was so intense. I could see the motion of the energy, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna use this in my life, but glad you signed me up. So then after that, I think it was like 4 months, and it was 4 months, and that I wanted to like move on with my path and do the level 2. And when you come into that level 2 energy, it's not like, you know what would be a good thing to do? Level 2. It's not like that. It's like a calling. You get this like, because everything is internal and external, you'll notice how intense this is when you get the call. I call it the call to level 2, because you'll start to notice that people are going to notice the frequency and the aura in your body, and they're going to be like, hey, what do you do? And people are just going to start randomly talking to you, and you don't know how to handle it, and they're going to ask you what you do, and you're going to talk about your Reiki, of course, because you're doing it every day, and you're doing your practice, of course, and they're like, oh, do you do Reiki on other people? That's going to be a constant in the space until you finally get your level 2, because then you can start saying, yes, I do that, or I'm training to do that, because energy is pushing you and pushing the people around you in your external environment to move you into that direction. And it's a scary thing, because then there's so much responsibility, because then you're working with other people's stuff. And when I came into that level 2, it was the craziest, most magical, like, it was intense. Like, I was working as a receptionist at Kara's Urban Day Spa, and then I randomly, like, I worked there for whatever time, and then I got an email saying, like, we've let you go. And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. They had no reason. I knew they were low on staff. I was like, why did they let me go? And like 3 days prior to that, I emailed this like clinic to see if they needed a Reiki practitioner, because I knew that I wanted to like actually start using a space. I felt ready. So then within the same day, like I got fired for some reason, me getting fired. And then the same day they're like, yes, please be the Reiki practitioner, the only Reiki practitioner at our clinic. So then like I went from working as a receptionist to being a Reiki practitioner at a clinic within the same day. Like what? So the energy it actually starts to like float you in different realities, and it like protects you and holds you. And thank you for coming. You're welcome. You can watch the rest later. So like the energy it was just like, we don't want you to be working here no more. We need you to be doing what you do. So then I just took the plunge and I started working at this, doing Reiki at a clinic within me getting fired. Now I'm doing Reiki. And then I think it was like just before summer starting. And then it got so intense with the amount of people that were coming in that I had to hire my own admin. my own admin, because I was like book solid. I didn't understand how this was happening. Everything was like, I was just running on Reiki energy. Like it was the most crazy, intense summer of my life. So yeah. And then I think it was like, yeah, it was coming up onto a year, and I was like, I'm feeling really ready to like move to the next stage. I started to get bored with like, I need some new material here. I need to get some spark in me. So my teacher was like, let me see if any of the other students are ready for their level 3, and we'll go and do that. So then, I'll wait. Let's go. I'm already starting to make my manuals. Like, Ryan ain't there yet, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So then, because it started to happen, people were like, hey, you teach yet? Are you teaching? I'm like, I ain't teaching yet. Wait up. Just wait. So I went and did the level 3 beautiful ceremony. That was when I was like, and we ate beautiful snacks, and I learned a lot. I learned like I was just like ready to just jump into the world of energy and see where it took me. And I still didn't understand how my business marketing was going to relate, but here we are. And then that happened, integration, like even after I left and I went home, I was still like, So it was a lot of integration, a lot of crying, a lot of food changes. My consciousness was a lot different. And I think I say this every time I talk about Reiki, but there was times where I'd call Austin and be like, I don't know where I am. Because your consciousness is like, it's practicing to go to different places to come back down, and you have to like be okay with being up here. You have to be okay with coming back down, because there's a fear that comes up, like if I'm up here, I'll never come back down, or if I'm just here, I won't be able to go up. So you have to learn how to like go up, down, whenever you need to, depending on the person and the time and the whatever. So like it took a year for that ability to go up and down with consciousness. That took a long time. And then, because it brings a lot of fear because you don't feel grounded, so you learn how to like really branch out your roots for very long lengths so that you can feel comfortable going up and down. And then then level 4 came around, and my teacher Austin, he wanted me to get my level 4 from his teacher, Mahika, and she's been doing it for a very long time. Great, lovely human. So we actually did that long distance over Facebook Messenger. So, sage in the corners, doing my little intention. She gave me the new symbols, the information, all that kind of stuff. We went through my process of my different attunements and my perspective on it, just to like sort of figure out if I'm ready or not. And of course I was ready. I was born ready. And then we did the attunement, and then I was ready. And I remember doing my first ever attunement on someone. It was actually a naturopathic doctor, Alexis Goth, and it was probably one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my entire life, giving that gift to someone else. And I could actually see it sit in the body. I could see after the attunement the impact that it had on the body. And she was just like, she's already intuitive, but the way she was able to describe what she was seeing on my own body was like amazing. So, yeah. Okay, so that's mini story time. I'm sorry. Oh, I heard it. Anything else? Let me check my fingers. So the last thing that I want to go over is, if you're being called to do Reiki level 1, there's a lot of fear of like, this is going to change my life, this is going to change how I'm operating, I don't know if I'm ready for that, because it's like the Reiki is going to push you to do things that you feel like you're ready to do, but you're kind of like on the edge. It's going to give you that little oomph that you need in order to make decisions and move forward, and you're going to go through a lot of different stuff, but it's going to be a very enjoyable roller coaster because you learn how to increase and decrease the pace of your own life. So if I want things to slow down a little, then I know how to do that. So everything slows down in my experience. I know how to speed things up in my experience, and that's very powerful for you to be able to do. So I will be holding a level 1 Zoom class in May for 4 lovely humans, and I'll send you your manuals and your 21-day cleanse book that helps you figure out like your different mindsets and how to like go through that process personally. So yeah, so let me know if you want to get your level 1 in May. So the exchange is $222, so you get your manual and your 21-day cleanse book, and obviously the attunement. I'll teach you how to do your self-attunement, some intuitive training. Obviously any questions that you have about it, I'm your contact for that 21 days, and I'll check in on you. You get your certificate, and yeah, Reiki Masterclass 101. Yeah, any other questions? I think that's all I had. That's all I had? I think so. Yeah, I think that is about it, but let me just double check my my list. Any questions? Any questions? When do you need to know by for our involvement? I'll probably, let me set the date now because, So I'm going to say let's go for May. What a calendar. We need a calendar here. Let's go. Oh, it's right here. One moment. Where we do? Marketing sales. Calendar. Alright, so we are here. And we need to be in May. I'm probably going to say... we are 17th. I'm going to say, I like May 3rd is going to be the date for the class. So probably, just so I can mentally prepare myself, let's do, the latest would be April 30th. Is that coolio? April 30th. And if you need a payment plan, that's fine. Yeah. So 4 humans for May 3rd for level 1 attunement. And if you already have your level 1 attunement and you just like hearing my talk, I will be doing level 2 attunement at the end of the month. Probably May 31st for level 2. So yeah. That's all I have for you for today. Yeah. If you have any other questions about Reiki, or if you want to DM me personal questions about stuff, let a girl know. Yeah, this is a beautiful time to do level 1 just because you have that space and time to do it, and there's a massive upgrades that are happening on the planet right now. So it's better if the body is at a higher frequency, operating at a higher frequency, and you have the tools and the knowledge and the symbols in order to increase the energy in your body, because when there's a lot of energy on the planet that's in a high frequency, because it's trying to allow people to evolve. If your body is very dense, then things are going to be a lot harder. It kind of feels like you're just slowly trekking along. But if you can, the attunement will like remove a lot of things a lot easier because it's getting it at the energetic. So things are being removed, you know how to increase. So it's going to be a lot smoother transition in dealing with the higher vibrations on the planet as you move through the different levels. And also, I'm getting, like, literally, guys, I'm getting phone calls, like, every day. So, do you do distance Reiki? People that maybe never even done Reiki before, or they just started getting Reiki before. They're, like, people are, like, searching for the thing that they've never done, that they know that is probably going to help, because we're just in a new time right now. So we need more healers. We need more people that have that knowledge and that sensitivity, because a lot of people after this COVID-19 situation, quarantine, a lot of people are like, wait, I can stay home and get paid and ain't not doing nothing. People are going to be like, I ain't going to work. And people are going to be looking for something that is inspiring, that makes them feel good. And a lot of people are going to be becoming healers and want to become healers. So they're going to need more teachers for these people that want to learn. So we need an influx of teachers, a lot of people that can do the work, because there's going to be a massive influx of people that want a new direction, a new path. And you can also, I can also see how the energy translates in every part of your life. Because like I do a lot of other things. Like I'm more like into like business coaching, intuitive coaching, and like building systems and all that kind of stuff. But the Reiki was that opener for me to build the business that I have. So you're going to be able to translate and move all these new skills that you're using within your Reiki practice into different areas. So yeah.